So you would think Steven Spielberg wouldn't have any doubts about himself or his movies.
I have doubts about myself in both worlds.
Thinking that you can't pull it off?
Yeah, every movie I make, and every movie I start, I don't think I can pull it off.
When you go onto a set in the morning for a movie, you nervous?
Yeah, every morning. Yeah. It's the same feeling I get going to work every morning as the feeling I got going to school every day. Being a bit of an outsider and not being normal and not quite getting good grades and not being able to compete, and my tummy is spilkus, my mom would call it. You know, I'd have before school every day, and I feel that when I make movies too.
But you're better at this than you were in school.
Oh, damn straight.
He may be nervous on the set, but Spielberg's become so important in Hollywood that Lou Wasserman, the chairman of MCA Universal, built this sprawling office complex for him right on the back lot. The $4 million project, which serves as creative home to all of those people who work with Spielberg, was an effort to ensure that Universal would get first dibs on the pictures they turn out.
Now, Universal did that for you. You didn't have to put that out.
Not a cent. They built the whole thing for me. And as Lou Wasserman said, when I guiltily turned to him and I said, you know, gee, Lou, this is a big deal. How much is this going to cost? He said, don't worry, it's what E.T. made in Uruguay. So, you want to try that?
Although he's a shrewd businessman, everyone who knows Spielberg says he's still very much like a precocious kid.
There we go.
Even his office is filled with toys, although they're, for the most part, adult toys.
This is the kind of place where potentially we could get no work done.
This grown-up kid has no hesitation telling you he's having more fun now than when he was growing up.
Well, I would have probably hesitated if I had like a couple good years. Then I would have said, well, there was the 4th and 5th grade. No.
What about your popularity? Were you a popular kid?
No. I was, you know, the last kid to be chosen for the softball team, the last kid to be chosen for the touch football team, the last kid to be chosen for basically everything, including badminton, you know.
And then something happened that changed his life.
We bought him a little movie camera, and he just started off. But we didn't know he was Steven Spielberg. I mean, this is my little blonde kid with the ears and little bangs.
Leah Adler is Spielberg's mother. When he was growing up, she encouraged his creativity and was often his cohort.
I mean, he'd want to do something harebrained, like go out in the desert and make a movie.
How old?
Oh, 8. I drove an Army Jeep. We lived in Arizona. And I had a pith helmet and a fatigue outfit. And he'd say, let's go. And I'd keep him home from school. And I used to lie. I wrote marvelous notes. I'm very creative. I could always think of a new ailment to keep my kid home from school.
So he could make a movie?
And we'd go out in the desert, and I just had a ball with him.
Hello.
Today, Spielberg is revered here at Universal Studios, and although he makes movies for other studios as well, if you take the tour of the back lot, the biggest attractions are from Spielberg movies.
There's the shark right there. There's Jaws. Now, why the shark works so well here every day, and I couldn't get the damn thing working for 2 months in Martha's Vineyard in '74, I'll never know. The shark was scheduled to make many more appearances, according to the script, and when the shark wasn't ready, or when we tested it and it sunk, what we did was, I just decided to shoot without the shark, and in a way, I think it increased the... It torqued up the suspense of the movie because you really didn't know where it was going to come from next. And rather than not seeing the shark every scene, instead I just played a lot of the fear from people in water. Seeing their legs kicking, a point of view of the camera moving, or just seeing the surface of the water with nothing below. And that's what I think turned the movie into more of an exercise in suspense than just a horror film.
So if you had had the shark when you wanted it, you probably would have had a different movie.
I probably would have had a movie that wouldn't have been as successful, I think, yeah.
Spielberg's success goes beyond his movies. He helped design the E.T. ride, which has become the biggest attraction on the Universal Tour.
You get a little bit of sauna when you go through this also. It's good for the skin.
If you've got some imagination, for those few minutes, you might even think you're on a bike taking E.T. back home.
That's my favorite guy right there. That's the guy, yeah.
Although E.T. was nominated for 9 Oscars and actually won 4, Spielberg didn't win for Best Director.
Does it bother you that you've never won an Oscar as Best Director?
Well, it's not that it doesn't bother me. No, honestly, I'm not bothered that I haven't won an Oscar because, you know, frankly, there's still time, perhaps someday, to win one. Maybe the only time I've really felt injured was when I made The Color Purple. We were nominated something like 12 times in every category, and the only category the film wasn't nominated in was the category for directing. And that was maybe the one time that I thought that somebody up there doesn't like me, that what have I done?
Some of your critics have blamed you for contributing to the escalating cost. They say they now have to keep aiming for Spielberg-sized hits. Medium hits won't do. Valid?
Well, not really. I mean, it's not my cross to bear, you know, because I can only make my movies, and little movies, big movies, whatever kind of movies I make, and I am not responsible for their, you know, for the acceptance of those films or what happens after those films are released. I mean, everybody goes for a home run if they think they've got a shot at it.
Let me get you to react to something that one of your peers said, another director. Steven Spielberg can't be compared with people like Mike Nichols or Barry Levinson. There is a place for mass entertainment, but it shouldn't be confused with art or quality award-winning filmmaking.
Sometimes I think that statements like that are pretentious in themselves because it sort of says that, you know, art is serious and art can't move you. Art can't be on a bicycle with E.T. and fly across the moon. That can't be art, you know, that because it takes your heart along with it through the sky and it makes you feel like a kid again.
Anything goes.
Actress Kate Capshaw met Spielberg when she auditioned for the female lead in the second Indiana Jones movie. She won the role and eventually won the director, who apparently likes to direct both on and off the set.
He's a definitely control freak, yeah.
Does that work for him on the set?
Yes, yes. I think it works for him in life.
I hate Peter Pan!
His most recent picture is Hook, a star-studded modern-day fantasy about Peter Pan, the boy who wouldn't grow up, a character to whom Spielberg has often been compared.
Come on, lower them. Will you lower them down gently?
You heard him lower them down gently.
Will you lower them down?
Help me, Dad. It's got to go and go like that. Yeah, it's good.
He said he really enjoyed working with Dustin Hoffman and Robin Williams, but when you ask Spielberg about Julia Roberts, the female star of Hook, you really don't get much of an answer.
I just want to see, take sideline. Get the ladder in here, please. It was an unfortunate time for us to work together, but I think that Julia's a really good actress.
Would you have any hesitation about working with her again?
This is a 60 Minutes question, isn't it?
So far, Hook has grossed $120 million, which by most standards would mean smiling faces down at the studio because they have a big hit. But because of the killer deals for Spielberg and the actors, coupled with the picture's enormous cost, it will be a long time under the Hollywood system of accounting before Hook starts making money for the studio.
So if this is not a big moneymaker, Hook, will that have an impact on big money pictures? Will it make it harder to do them?
It's harder to do them right now. The average movie today is $25 million, the average film. I believe about 6 years ago it was $15 million. I mean, the multiplication table of what films are going to cost 10 years from now is going to mean that Hollywood will be out of control in that they won't be able to give audiences grand entertainment anymore. And instead, you're going to just have to settle for films that are a little low in calories. And there's nothing wrong with that, too, because maybe it'll bring back Tracy and Hepburn. Maybe it'll bring back writers like, you know, Ruth Gordon and Garson Kanin. I mean, maybe it'll be a revolution and the films will be smaller but much more provocative.
Can you do that kind of movie?
Yes, I can, if I find the right script and story, absolutely. But I'll miss the big show. And action. You know, I'll miss being a ringmaster, and I'll miss the greatest show on earth. I'll miss that.